That we bring in Texas Congressman Louie Gohmert, who is joining us. Congressman, you've been outspoken on the need for a border wall. Is this the last chance now, coming up in a couple of weeks in Congress, for funding for a border wall before Dems take over the House?
Yes, I was begging our colleagues back in September to please, before we recess for October, let's get the president money for a border wall. And by the way, I think if we do that, we'll stay in the majority. But there were crickets. They refused to do it. And so now we're heading to the minority. And I know there's a feeling among some Republicans that we should just, using a football metaphor, take the snap and then fall on the ball. But we have until the Democrats are sworn in January. We ought to take advantage of every day to do all we can. But one of the most important things is to build a wall where we need it. We don't need it all 2,000 miles.
Congressman, I know we don't need people can debate over exactly whether you need a wall or a fence or drones or whatever. But the fact remains that this is an unfulfilled promise to Republican voters, and one that, by your own admission, by a Republican Congress, it's a Republican House, Republican Senate, Republican in the White House. Do you worry that if you don't get border wall funding done in December, that Republican voters are going to hold you and some of your colleagues responsible come the next election?
Well, they've already held the House responsible. That's what that was a contributor in us losing the majority. As I told our colleagues in September, look, the president's voters are going to come out in 2020 because they know he's done everything he can. But we have not helped him keep those promises, and so we've already been accountable.
Hold on. Has the president really done everything he can? He could have said, I'm not going to sign a spending bill that doesn't have border wall funding in it. That would have been an option. Well,
that's what he has said now. He has tried to work with Congress, and he has made clear, you better send me border wall funding.
Are you confident that the president's going to lay down the law on this one, that he's willing to shut down the government and force funding into this bill?
I believe he is. I believe he's very serious because he sees, especially with what the alt-left said didn't exist, and we know now it really is an invasion. If we don't do it now, we don't fund this now, it's not going to happen. And what a lot of people don't realize, you can't maintain self-government if you don't have educated voters in how you go about maintaining self-government. So it is critical for the ongoing of the country.
In the weeks before Christmas, the House and Senate wants to head home for the holidays. There's the showdown being set up here, if you will. We'll continue the football metaphor. You're right down near the goal line, but can't get it through, can't get it in. On one side, you have you and your caucus. On the other side, you're going to have sound bites like this one. Take a listen, and then we'll talk about it.
President Trump, please help us, she said. I would get on my knees and beg. Don't send us back, she continued. We're walking and scared. You say you'll militarize the border, but I pray to God that with our evidence of persecution, you won't send us back. I fear for my family's life. Please, Mr. Trump, open the doors for us. I beg you.
Is this an untenable or perhaps, shall we?
Absolutely not. The best thing we can do to help those people is build a wall where we need it, cut down any illegal immigration, because we are funding the corruption in Mexico. Mexico has some of the best workers in the world, natural resources, great location. The only reason they're not a top 10 economy and all of those people living a wonderful life is because we're funding the drug cartels. Build the wall where we need it, stop anybody coming in illegally, and you won't have people crying on the borders because things will be going so well in Mexico.
Okay. All right. Congressman, we'll leave it there. Appreciate it, and come back and talk to us as the funding war begins.
Good
to see you, Jolene.
You bet. Thanks.
The Democrats